So did the embargo
Hey
work
everybody!
today? Oops, sorry.
I am Chloe, and we are here with the Turtle Rock live stream. I'm here with Scott Flanders.
Hi.
Scott is a concept artist here at Turtle Rock Studios. Scott, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do here?
Yeah, so involved in a lot of the initial brainstorming and ideation for all kinds of stuff, characters, creatures, environments.
Since Turtle Rock was 12 people.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
I mean, not exactly the real beginning. There's like the real old school veterans, but
Right.
but yeah, back when it was 12 people in a garage at the beginning of Evolve. Yeah. That was it.
And so you had a big hand in kind of helping Phil with the overall look for, concepting wildlife and the look of Evolve, because that's changed a lot over the years.
Yes, I have played a role for better or for worse. There have been times.
Oh.
And that's true. Like that, early on, there was a lot we had to learn, and there were a lot of directions we went that weren't correct for the game. But yeah, in the end, yeah, a lot of good people came on and helped us get where we are now, and things look really good.
Yay! And we haven't had a concept artist on the stream yet. So how do you start? Because I know I've seen a lot of your hunter silhouettes. If anybody has the art book, there's a big silhouette page, a whole bunch of different character ideas, and that's Scott's work. So how do you start? Like what's your sort of spawn point for creating new hunters?
Well, usually, for example, that page of silhouettes, that started at me and TJ is like our senior concept guy, and Mike Brainerd hanging out at Flame Broiler like one night after the gym, and we're all just brainstorming about what could be cool. We had started to hear the rumor that we're gonna go 20 characters instead, like 20 unique loadouts, and so we just started geeking out about all the different possibilities, and that's actually usually how it starts, is with conversations and people getting excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We get excited. I know I one thing I love about working here is that you can just sit someone down and start talking about what they work on, and everybody gets like, oh well, blah 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 blah, and everybody's really into it. So I think that shows in the characters that we've come up with. So you were talking about before the stream a little bit about how you work with Chris on sort of the loadouts and how that sort of starts the inspiration.
Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, it's usually sort of organic. It's a little bit of back and forth, but from my perspective, what seems to be the best process is when Chris will usually consider loadouts for quite a long time before he reveals them, or starts talking to people about them, working things out, trying to do something new and fun, and then he'll pull some guys into a room, different groups of people at different times, and he'll kind of spitball. He'll run that idea by me or some other guys and kind of see where that goes and see
Mm-hmm.
what happens. And usually it doesn't take long until I kind of start to see where he's going, see the potential for a character in that, get excited, and I'll just kind of start like ranting and raving, like, oh, it could be like this, I mentioned earlier, we were talking about Maggie and Daisy. This is a good example of how the collaborative aspect of the character design works. We knew we were going to have trappers. We knew we were going to have what's the word I'm looking for? Movement. We knew we were going to have the domes and harpoon traps and all that stuff.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But we didn't necessarily have a tracking dog or something like that.
Right.
So, but in that sheet of silhouettes, I was inspired by these guys, like these African hyena men, they're called. That's like their nickname. But they're these really hardcore gangster guys that keep baboons and hyenas on chains and use them to intimidate their rival gangs. And it's like a pit bull or something, but like stage 3 pit bull. But anyway, so I thought that was a really interesting idea. And then to take that that really dangerous, intimidating visual and transfer it to a woman seemed even more interesting. And so that's kind of where Maggie and Daisy had their birth.
Dude, Maggie's so much more badass than I knew.
Yeah, she is.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can see her getting pissed off and just being like, Daisy,
Sickle.
kill. Yeah. That's awesome. So let's focus in on these tier 4 hunters that we're talking about, because I know that's what everybody is actually here for, is more information about new hunters. Yay! So we've got their idle animations up here on the select screen. So if we could take a look at Slim, our medic, first. Slim is our first not entirely human character.
Yeah, and he's one of my personal favorites. I love this guy. He's an answer to this big, long-standing question and desire we had in the studio for an alien character. It's sci-fi. Genre is usually overrun with aliens. And that's half the fun of sci-fi.
Right.
But part of Evolve, part of what's cool about the Evolve world is this anchoring in reality, this like frontier wilderness. And our art director, creative director Phil he has like pretty strong opinions about aliens and stuff like that. So we had to find a different answer, and our writer Matt Colville references these wars when he was figuring out Hyde's backstory. He references the Mutagen Wars, where they used their chem sprayers to fight these guys, the Basilisk soldiers, and that just like was the fucking cool part of my French.
No, you're fine.
Okay, that was like
this is a mature game. You can say all the F words you want.
That was
We had
like
Phil
the
on here.
coolest thing I'd like. That was just the coolest, most evocative idea I'd heard in a while. So, talking with those guys about some kind of alien, like it started to make sense. Like maybe instead of an alien, our answer for the Evolve universe in our direction is mutation. It's perfectly in line with the idea of the name of the game itself, Evolve. It's about mutation, evolution, life struggling to adapt and change, things growing, survival. So mutants seem to fit. That was our visual answer to the desire for diverse humanoid characters.
Yeah, so Slim's been, his genes were spliced with insect in order to make them, I think, more resilient, because he's got kind of a chitinous armor sort of look to his...
So he's like, his DNA is spliced with arthropods, so that's not necessarily, he's not necessarily like a bug, but arthropods includes like sea scorpions and, or like an ancient lineage of, insect, scorpions, I think spiders, so crabs. So basically all these really interesting armored creatures, like hardcore armored creatures.
That's very cool.
And part of the idea was that these guys, these Basilisk soldiers, there would be different classes. In the same way we have our various hunter classes, there could be an assault class Basilisk soldier that could use his like huge mandible claw to like rip through the hull of a ship and then allow the smaller guys to board.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Yeah, and their exoskeleton, suit shit would allow them to fly through the vacuum of space, and like nerdy stuff to wazoo. But we got really excited about it, and I think we got a good.
So we ended up with a combat medic.
Yeah.
He's our first combat medic. Really, he leeches health from the monster, and it recharges his health burst. We'll actually go into a little bit more detail about his gameplay mechanics when I sit down with our gameplay programmer in a little bit later on.
The smart guy.
We got so much more to pick your brain about. So I love that he's got wings instead of a jetpack. Was that a difficult decision, or did that seem kind of natural once you went
That was natural and fun.
Yeah.
Something that really a lot of us really pushed for.
And they're so pretty. Like I love watching him fall out of the dropship because it's just like I love the design of them. I think it's really beautiful.
Yeah, a lot of people. This was a very contentious character, and it makes sense that it would be so because he's a freaking bug man. So, but. Yeah, a lot of people thought those wings would be stupid, but they turn out to be really fun. This character, in my opinion, he perfectly, he walks that line of like humor and, he has all the right like lovable qualities. He's got all the right nostalgic qualities. He references like old school gunslingers.
Yeah.
Guys like James Coburn and what's his face? What?
No, it's cool.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, and he's extremely expressive considering that his eyes take up like half of his face. There's still so much personality there.
That's part of that mouth. That's that James Coburn mouth. That guy just had this like grim cowboy smile, and that cigarette. There's nothing more humanizing on a bug man than a dude smoking a cigarette.
That's really funny. This is actually kind of a grim team. They're all a little scowly. Yeah. We did have a murmuring from the godlike Jess voice in my ear. Can I? Yeah.
Yes.
Let's we've got some concept art of Slim. So Jess, do you want to hit us with that? And Scott can elaborate. Ooh.
Okay, so this is not by me. This art is some good stuff. Some people helped us out with early on in the process. So initially all our work, all the stuff we had for Slim was too far. It was too far out there. It was too much like mainstream, sci-fi alien concept art, like just too almost like untraceably common. Like it's just kind of forgettable, and or influenced by other competitor games and stuff.
Right.
So some of this stuff was a little to me was a little too like Destiny or something, like a little too like a pirate. I don't know. It wasn't quite right yet, but the one on the, I think it would be, they're right, was starting to get closer. That one started to feel correct.
I think that what we've tried to do in our hunter characters and our monsters is make them relatable, right? We want you to feel some sort of empathy, even with the monsters.
Yeah.
So taking a character like this and making him too alien-like and too much of a departure from human is not where we want to go with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly Phil's concern, and that's why usually kind of steers us away from some of this weirder crap. So you need those counterbalancing elements to, like you just said, to this guy, for example. This guy looks crazy.
A lot. But his
even with his starting to get there.
Yeah, his costume starts to look more human.
His head is ridiculous. So like a lot of the way we would. It was always a back and forth. Like basically, Phil is like he's like, I don't know what the right term is, like a barometer. He's like our maybe a barometer. Right?
Grounding force.
Yeah, he has like the taste. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like I'll be working on something and basically if I can make Phil happy, if it's something he feels proud about, like he feels good about, then I know, okay, this shit's gonna be cool. Like if I feel good about it, he feels good about it, this thing's gonna be cool. And so we'll kind of go back and forth like that, and be like, "Nah, that looks stupid." But okay.
Awesome.
Dig into it for a
Do
while.
we have any more Slim or? Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on. Who would you like to talk about next? Should we hit Crow?
Sure. Those guys are buddies. Those guys go together.
They are buddies.
Yeah, actually, initially all four of these guys. Early on, we weren't sure how we were going to market them or release them, so we talked about like pairing them. A lot of the ideas were they were meant to like complement each other. So it was like Crow and Slim, these two guys surviving out in the wilderness together. These two old like hunting buddies. The refugee of the mutagen wars, hiding in the wilderness of Sheer to get away from. He's the kind of guy that Abe would be hunting down to collect a bounty on.
And we talked a little bit about the idea that these guys were already on Sheer. Yeah. So while Cabot and his crew came in after the invasion to kind of deal with that, these guys were here, and these guys have been dealing with it a little bit longer. So Crow was actually sent out here to scope out Sheer ages ago, and has been sort of surviving.
Yeah,
and that's his job.
He's like this guy. This guy's like dear to my heart. Like very in line with a lot of the principal ideas. Related to our art direction, this idea of like a savage sci-fi frontier. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, this guy really he defines that. He encompasses all of that with his like Blitz leopard mantle, taken from one of the like top predators of the planet. In the same way, an old American mountain man would have taken the hide of a grizzly bear or a timber wolf and worn it.
Yeah, and a straight, like, not at all sci-fi, just like axe hanging from his belt.
That's a trench hawk. Like,
I'm sorry, I have no idea.
They use that shit, and that's just popular in Afghanistan. Soldiers use that stuff.
Oh Christ! Okay, that's serious. That's very cool. Yeah, and he definitely got that, like, I can survive indefinitely on my own, no big deal, with just my little bat ray for help. I gotta say, I need to shout out to our animators because Gobi is freaking adorable with he's got so much personality in his little movements and the way he looks at Crow, and he's just awesome.
Yeah, he is the counterbalance to Crow's stoicism. So like Crow is our like that kind of classic I don't know what you'd call him, like that he has some of
type.
That that silent like Native American warrior kind of thing going on, right? So that counterbalance of expression, or the focal point of expression, is Gobi.
Yeah, but he's also based on, I think, Mongolian, like, they use falconers or something?
Yes, there's this, like, tribe, I can't remember the exact name of the people in Mongolia, but they, they ride horses across the plains and hunt wolves with golden eagles.
There's a mashup.
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
draw inspiration from all sorts of places.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here.
Oh yeah, here's some
look.
concept. Yeah, like see early on. I mean, if you look even earlier back, we probably don't want to share that stuff because it's a little too corny. But some of my like initial, sort of like knee-jerk reactions to the idea of like a sheer mountain man, they're pretty crazy. They're guys in freaking like coonskin caps, or like pretty like one-to-one. I like them, but they're a little too much.
A little on the nose.
Yeah, a little on the nose. So like when we, along the way, this was sort of where we this is when we really hit on the specific direction for Crow, the idea of him being Mongolian with the guy on the left. There's this old book, it's in the public domain, Dersu the Trapper. It's about this Russian frontiersman in Siberia in early, I think it's like late 1800s. These guys, it's basically the equivalent of the American frontier, but in Russia and Siberia.
Damn.
So you have this like really neat mixture of Russian, Asian wildlife, like Siberian tigers and Amur leopards and black bears, and I think they might even have hyenas. I don't know, maybe not. But they got wolves. They just have all this crazy stuff and this amazing savage landscape that, anyway, so that's where, figuring that out made Crow, it added this element of exoticism, I think that's the right word, that seemed to fit with him really well. It kind of took him out of that corny American, bearded mountain man thing.
Because I think that's definitely a personality type. Like it doesn't matter where you are, what culture you're coming from. There's a certain type of person who can do that sort of survival lone wolf,
the hermit, the survivalist.
Yeah,
there's an appeal, I think, for a lot of people to retreat from the constraints of society. Right, there's like no war, no money. Just a guy getting away from it all, like hanging out with his buddy around a campfire, smoking pipes, eating, venison from a fresh, whatever, Armadon venison, whatever the hell, I don't know. Like that idea of those two characters hanging out together, like, really appealed to, like, the little boy in me. So
very nice. Yeah, let's do a couple games. We're gonna give you guys a break from all of the talking. I'm sure you're anxious to see them. Don't apologize for sharing your interesting information. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them. We are here for you guys. So let's jump into a game, and then we'll talk some more about Sunny and Torvald after a game or two. So we get to see Slim in action. Slim and
yes, ma'am.
Alrighty. We're going to see this game from... Sorry, you guys get to hear me responding to the voice in my head that you can't hear, so I promise there is someone speaking into my ear. I'm not just like, oh, yes, voices in my head. Yeah.
I am actually doing that.
Yeah, it gets a little silly around here, but that's what you come for, right? Hey, Turtle Rock. So yeah, we get to see our super cool crew here, and looks like we got a behemoth. He's so cool.
He's our big boy.
Yeah, I actually played him for the first time earlier today in a playtest, and I was like, this is so cool. Yeah. I was just rolling around, and there's nothing like rolling over someone. That's like extremely satisfying.
Yeah, our MO with this guy is just like big. That's like the defining characteristic. As big as we can,
Yeah, when I was watching we played him on the new maps on Monday, and just seeing him fit through these tiny like
corridors,
tunnels, and you're like, yep, that's as big as we can make a monster. Yeah. That is it. That's
ignore collision.
Yeah. You're like, this is gonna take some fancy footwork to program so it doesn't mess up.
Oh, look at that. Ragdoll Mega Mouth.
Yep, getting a buff there. Good start. I actually don't remember who we have playing. Let's see. We have Lee on Assault. Daniel Phillips on Trapper. When you guys saw him do the maps.
Yeah.
In a previous stream.
DP.
Medic is sorry? What?
Dylan Santuzo.
Dylan, one of our QA testers, and Fernando on support, another Sam Potter's monster. So we've got some QA all-stars in the house. That's exciting. You guys will see some pretty cool play. hopefully. We seem to, well, yeah, we're getting some stuff happening here. Reavers, boo Reavers. So apparently Jess wants to come in here and do the stream.
Yeah. You're not the boss of me, Jess.
Somebody's dying over there, and our medic is just sort of hanging out shooting wildlife. So basically what he's using right now is the leech gun. Leech gun is super cool. It basically, his healing burst, it's directly related to his healing burst. So his healing burst will recharge the same way that a normal medic's would, but if he's shooting things with the leeching gun, it'll recharge a lot faster.
Yeah, based on how much damage he's dealing now, his healing burst will be
And he also has more radius on it, so he can heal teammates who are further away. So right now, he needs to kind of get over towards that trapper so that he can pop a healing burst. And actually, what he just did there was his cute little drone bug thing that goes out and heals. So he can send that out. It'll pop up a little green arrow above the character so that you know you're sending it to the right one. And they can be really far away. I don't actually. We can probably ask Gary in a little bit what the range is on that. But it's great for getting people up from in-cap. It's
and it's good and sneaky. It's really small, so it's a little harder for the monster to notice. I mean, he has to really be aware and paying attention. But you can put that down on an in-cap buddy. If monster isn't focusing, that in-cap guy, put that bug down and go about your business.
And it will disappear when you take damage, but out of combat is a great way to get your teammates healed up. If they're, if you guys are split, you can send it off to the other side and they'll get healed even at a distance. I know you are not the weapons guy, but did you have, were you involved in designing the weapons for these hunters? Or?
Not really. Like really, it's always like high level kind of stuff. So I mean, part of the reason we ended up going with Slim for this loadout, Chris had the idea of a leeching gun, like something that would steal health and give it to someone, or a healing drone. So we had these different variables, these different elements, and a smoke grenade. So you're thinking, if he's a bug, if he's an insect guy, then it makes sense the idea of stealing health. There's the leech in nature, that steals blood, so that fits with him. The healing drone could be a little insect buddy, it'd be kind of cute. Everybody loves pets, Yeah. And then the smoke grenade are like they're some kind of spores, some kind of. Anyway,
and those spores
that's
actually,
about as far as I get into it. We have guys that are way smarter and better at figuring this stuff out than me.
We have the spores are really cool because you shoot them at the monster and then he can't smell. So he has to get out of that cloud. It's a good area of denial, and it's also, I think a lot of monsters starting out will not understand how useful it is.
Yeah.
Because, how much it needs to be respected. Because when you can't see the outlines of hunters, it's almost like you're blind.
Yeah.
Like you can still see them in game, but having them no outline, no tag, it's very unsettling, I think, the first few times that you see it as a monster.
Yeah, and the effect in general, just the more noise, I mean, you guys know who played this game, the more, when you're in the shit, there's so many effects on the screen that you can literally, use that to your advantage. So that's also part of your sense. So I think when you put that sport cloud down, and it's not only making it a little slightly difficult for him to see, but yeah, you literally can't see your sniff outline.
Yeah. I guess we're having some mic stuff. Can you cuddle in here, Scott?
Sorry.
We want you guys to hear all of this.
My bad.
No worries. We gotta share a mic.
Okay.
But is that better, everybody? Can you hear us better? All right, I'm louder. Okay, fine. Here,
Sorry.
You get more of the mic.
My bad.
It's like we don't have a volume button out there or something.
It's my remote, bro.
Oh! Apparently sass only goes one way today. It's all coming from Jess. Alright, so we've got that healing burst coming out as often as it is up, because honestly that is the best thing. It's just, he's not only doing damage, but he's also really keeping his team topped up. He doesn't have a healing gun, he doesn't have another method of doing that, so...
Yeah, it is your responsibility to be in the action as Slim, whether it's a monster or wildlife. You just need to be next to things that you can steal health from.
Yeah, because in combat, you're not going to be able to send out your little healing drone. Like that doesn't work. So
like Jess's advice in the post on the on our blog or whatever, it's just you got to be shooting that gun all the time.
Yep.
Just go nuts.
Yep. Yeah. Keep everybody healed up. Also, I feel like a lot of medics don't keep an eye on their own health. So right now, they're not anywhere near the monster. He should probably be heal bursting to make sure that he is super topped up. But everybody's gonna have their own strategy. So I love Slim. I like to play Slim. He's super fun.
Yeah, he's definitely like my favorite guy. He's so different.
It works for my playstyle because I tend to be a little overly aggressive, which is why I play Assault a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, pop my shield and run in and like smash things. And Slim is kind of like that. You don't have to babysit him quite as much as maybe some of the other medics.
Yeah.
When he gets focused, he has that the spore bomb, so he can kind of make himself a little bit less visible. And then
I think it's the ability cooldown perk or whatever, the recharge or reload perk.
Yeah, reload
right?
perk.
I take that one with him just to speed up that his healing burst as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can see they're doing a
tankier.
ton of damage to him.
I mean, there have been battles. I mean, it really depends on skill level of who we're fighting in the studio, right? But there's been some guys that fight as Behemoth. Behemoth be like on top of me, and you're just like, it's a one-on-one with Slim and Behemoth. But then there are other guys that are just like, you're dead. So I think it's probably a skill thing. But you can really get in the fight as Slim and have a lot of fun. It's a really different way to play a medic.
Yeah. So we just saw him send out his little drone bug over to that person who needed some healing. He couldn't see him. He was far away, but all he needed to do was figure out where that little green arrow was and send him off. So that is super helpful. Yeah, they're doing really well this game. Behemoth really has a learning curve too. Like we found that when we showed him cards, and
he's a big fat boy, so he's a big target.
He's a big target.
And there's a lot of open this map. There's a lot of
yeah, but that's why we gave him so much health and armor, is because if you're going to be able to hit him all the time, he needs to be able to take it. So he's much tankier than any of our other.
He was engaging that last battle. You guys know he was in a pretty open spot right there, so it's a pretty bad place to fight guys like Crow with his stasis gun and his ability to like pierce your shields. Okay.
All right, so we are gonna talk about. Let's start with let's do Torvald and leave our beautiful Sunny for last.
Okay. You mean?
I'll just make
TJ, or should I say Phil? I don't know.
Yeah, apparently all you have to do is put a beard on a guy and he looks like everyone.
That is true. Everybody always.
Our forums people are like, oh, is it based on Phil? Is it based on Chris? No. It's just. I mean, I think it was originally sort of TJ inspired.
It really was, yeah. It was straight up was.
TJ
It's like TJ is like our senior guy. It had probably the biggest influence on most of the visuals in our game and stuff. So from my perspective, it was me in a silhouette. I made a guy who was like a Captain Ahab Viking, and it was basically like a little nod to my buddy, kicked so much ass on the game. This is like his dream character. Like he would love to be he used to be a bodybuilder, so this is like his dream. Like if I could just like be part machine, then I could lift up trucks with my hand.
TJ
like,
used to be a bodybuilder?
Yeah. I mean, you can't look at that guy. He's like a truck. Yeah.
What? All right, I guess we're gonna look at some concept art while we wait for Torvald's idle animation. That phrase just completely escaped my universe. Here we go. So this is super early. Am I like?
Yeah, this is pretty early. So this is like,
But we've got the elements that are there. The sort of half cyborg, tech,
half man,
half body.
Half cyborg type thing. Definitely more. If left to my own devices, I'll tend to go with stuff like furs and cloaks and do stuff that's maybe not. Where the hell would this guy get a bear fur on sheer? That's retarded. But but I thought, hey, this will look so cool, man. But that got nixed because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we don't have any furry creatures on sheer.
That was a rule we made
early
on.
But it makes me sad because we don't like the level of cuteness is somewhat diminished by lack of fur, I think.
Yeah, we all went with sharks. It was like shark skin.
Yeah, I know. We got a reptile thing going on. That's okay. It's okay. So let's see.
Okay, Torvald.
We got another one. Oh, here we go. This is the man himself. I love the tattoos. I think they're so cool. I think there's something about it that just sort of accentuates the fact that it's skin
Yeah.
in contrast to the metal.
Yeah, tattoos are hardcore, man. Everybody knows that.
Yeah,
Tattoos
that's
are
how
cool.
you show what a badass you are.
Yeah, there's some like something about this idea of the space Viking is so fun. It's so that contrast is so intense.
Well, we have space Russians and space Polish
Yeah.
people, and why the hell not? We
Yeah,
got a
why
bug
not?
person for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got some pretty sick shoulder cannons. I feel like those have been in his concept for a long time. Is
They
that
have the idea of the mortars. That was Chris's idea for the loadout, and then we were just thinking, hey, his jetpack shape could kind of reference like subconsciously the Mjolnir's hammer, Thor's hammer from Norse
Oh
mythology.
yeah.
So that's kind of the idea that it's somewhat, there's a little bit of negative space in here that diminishes that read, but that's the idea, is that you have that T hammer shape.
Yeah, it's
Yes, he is the hammer of Thor.
and let's see. What do you know what like his backstory is?
Sort of. Like there was initially, I was really attracted to this idea of like the future Captain Ahab. So the guy who had like fought the beast, the Leviathan, and been scarred or torn, lived to tell the tale, and then
Right.
carried this vendetta with him, against.
Because we've got that dropship banter where he talks about like having been on was it a Nordita ship?
Yes, I don't remember.
And-
The fiction, it goes through a lot of, it changes a lot,
Right.
But yeah, I think in the end, Colville came up with the idea that he was like I think either a member of a crew or captain or something. Ship gets attacked by monsters, they all get killed. Everybody on the crew except him, and he uses like the robotics systems on the ship to, maintain life support for himself and
Right.
then rebuild his structure.
Yeah, and
So
I
he
think
builds his own
Sonny
new
had a
body.
hand in it. I think
I don't
there's
know,
something
yeah.
like that. I think it's kind of like they were transporting an alien
Okay.
and it got out or something because Nordita knew about it, and Slim. There's a conversation with Slim in the dropship where they talk about it, and Slim gets really upset that they knew about the monsters and didn't say
Oh.
anything, and he's like, "Well, it would have caused panic." So
I thought Sonny just oiled his joints, like.
oh, that might she might offer to upgrade him because he's super stoic. I think she does that. She does that for Slim too. She says like I gave your drone different food or something to like make him faster, and she's just super chipper. Yeah, let's go to Sunny while I'm talking about her. She's so cute.
Yeah,
and
this
she's
is
got
the
this
girl.
awesome arm because talk about a little bit about where Sunny came from.
So
Jump
I mean,
in
she actually is. She's not that complicated. Like she was the desire to have that. There's this archetype of the like kind of peppy, energetic, this like hyper intelligent, curious woman who's mechanically inclined. That's that finds it manifests itself in all areas of our genre, and we're like, that's awesome. We need that. Like we love that. We want a girl. We want this cute little Asian girl with a big ass gun.
Because she's almost like there's almost like a kind of an Anakin Skywalker influence there. Because she's she's super young. She's sort of a flying kind of like a prodigy, like
Prodigy,
a flight.
yeah,
She's an amazing pilot, and she's really great with tech. She's got the same support framework that they all have with the legs, so that they can carry those heavy guns. That's why she's also got the arm to help her out.
Yeah. Oh, initially, I sort of imagined her as, this was like super early and I was abandoned, so I didn't finish it, but as African American, so she's going to be this sort of like Black Rosie the Riveter kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
I was super stoked. There's a little bit of like pink bra showing under. Like she was going to be hot, man, but we went with a different
Aww.
direction. But she's still hot in her own.
That's sad. Do we have anything newer of Sunny, or is that all right? Let's go back to her idle animation, please. And there's some really cute details about her. Like I think there's oh wait, I can't talk about that.
Yeah,
there's a sneaky thing
sneaky
on her gun, but so anyway, but she is actually, you can't see it super well in this idle animation, but she's got a full sleeve on her right arm, which is awesome.
Yeah, she's just got so much character.
Yeah,
like she was a character that in the initial concept, the actual image itself, like the 2D picture, did not communicate as clearly what this person could be, and it was really the culmination of all these different people believing in what the character could be. It was Mike and TJ working on weapons and this exoskeleton. Right, it was Lauren doing his little special touch. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about. She's like this like perfect culmination of a lot of people fallen in love with the character. Like she's way better than she started out as.
More than the sum of her parts.
Yeah, that's the phrase.
And she's got that cute. She's got like a denim shirt or something tied around her waist with some patches on it. Like she's very spunky and
Sunny Brewster, dude.
Yeah, and I just love her interactions because it is this whole team is so grim. They were all frowny, and she's just this little ray of sunshine, but that sort of brings some levity to this group. So do we have any questions for Scott before we replace him with a gameplay programmer? You are being replaced. No, we've got a lot of information here. A lot of unfortunately, the art book doesn't include any of these post-launch characters. Yeah. So if you have questions, it's good. I think did you join the forums?
I did. I recently joined, but I haven't done a thing with it because I'm like, oh, it's going to be so exciting. Like, oh, I got nothing to say. All right.
So if you guys have questions and you missed the opportunity to ask him here, you can talk to us on talk.turtleworkstudios.com on our forums. And what's your handle? It's like Tigerblood Warlock?
Tigerblood Warlock. Charlie
Which
Sheen.
I chuckled about. Yeah. So you guys can tag him with questions. And it looks like I'm not getting anything up on the screen here. So I think we will say goodbye.
Okay. Bye, guys.
And,
thank you.
All right. So we're gonna start the game, and you're gonna get that for a little bit while we have a little shuffle around, and then I'll see you back, and we'll introduce Gary in a minute.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Think we make it out of here?
You and me? Yeah. Don't know about the rest of these assholes.
Assholes?
Well, people.
Oh, assholes, yeah.
You know we can hear you, right?
And I'm back, and this is Gary.
Hi.
Gary is a gameplay programmer, is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a gameplay programmer, work on the weapons mostly.
Oh, cool. What does that mean? What does that mean for people who don't work in games watching our stream?
Okay, so mostly I work directly with designers. They'll come to me with whatever wild, crazy ideas they have, and it's my responsibility to actually make them work in the game. Do the programming. I expose the values for them so that they can go in, tweak the values, really tune the characters easily, and try to make things as balanced as possible. I try to be the voice of reason when they ask for something that's a little too crazy. Try to give them a couple alternatives so that we can make something that's going to work within the bounds of, unfortunately we don't have, super powerful PCs in everyone's living room, so, we have to balance performance with gameplay, and I think we do a pretty good job of in the end.
Do you have any examples that you can think of off the top of your head where you had to be like, no guys, it's just not happening, I'm sorry?
Okay, let's see.
You can think about that if you want. We can sort of look at what's going on in the game. We can talk about that. We can come back to it.
All right, sounds
Okay.
good.
So we're seeing this is Crow right now. We got this awesome Gobi on his arm. Gobi flies out into the environment in a straight line, and then makes everything wildlife, monster, highlight in yellow, like Cabot's dust tag. It doesn't last very long, but he can be sent out as soon as he comes back. Let's see. So we've got the monster here, highlighted helpfully by Gobi. Crow's other nice Moborina. Crow's gun that he's got out now is his what's it called? This is
The long rifle?
yeah. There we go. Basically, Crow has a mechanic that we haven't used before in the game, which is charged shots. So, with his long rifle, he can shoot the monster, which just does normal damage, but if he holds it down and charges it, it actually goes through armor and does direct health damage. So he was getting taken out of the game there by the monster, really did not want to be trapped. While we were talking about Crow, his other weapon is a stasis gun. Is that its real name?
Yep, Stasis gun.
Stasis gun, sweet.
Yeah, we're pretty good.
Until I did my homework. So that's a similar idea where it's charged. It's a kinetic rifle. What is that? That's the first one. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Long rifle is our internal working name.
So kinetic rifle.
Yep.
So wow, we got a lot of people down. Who's? Oh, it's just our assault. So I think they're don't leave the territory. Don't do that. You can't go over there.
It's not a valid strategy.
Not going to work. But so his stasis gun, it will slow the monster for a short period of time, but if it's charged,